Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters challenge. We have two 40% alcohol silver rums, light rums, clear rums, white, whatever you want to call them. And these have been driving me crazy. This is Aristocrat. Well, one of them's been driving me crazy. Aristocrat rum, or as it's called, Aristocrat light rum, introduced in 1933 by Grosscurth Distillers Company, which was an actual little distillery in Kentucky. And it was owned by a husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Grosscurth. And they used to donate a lot of money to Louisville University. And they had a lot of foster children, I read. No children of their own. They, I guess, tried to help people out. They both died within weeks of each other in 1999. And I think they were about like 96, 97 years old. But their company came under control of Heaven Hill, and their distillery is long gone. I think, I think there was a fire and it burnt down, but it was these distilleries are very flammable. Actually, one of Heaven Hill's distilleries burnt down once. So there's a two-headed bird with medals that have no meaning, and banners that have no meaning, and some kind of weird display in the middle that might have some meaning. Maybe these people were Baha'is. I don't know. So it says Grosscurth, but if you look at I'll do a screen share. If you look at the website, it's Heaven Hill. But Heaven Hill's like Sazerac. They use all these alias names. And Jim Beam does that too. Beam Suntory does that too. They're like Clear Creek Distilling and all of this stuff. Here's the headline. See, for rum, if you it was last updated February 1st. Click on rum. It'll list. You see, Aristocrat Gold, 151. Oh, no thanks. I would never dream of buying 151 proof rum. But I have some Aristocrat Gold in the liter bottle, 80 proof liter bottle. Aristocrat White Rum, or as the bottle says, light rum. I have the liter bottle, as you can see. And then there's Clubhouse Silver, which I have a bottle. They only make it in liters, and they only make the silver. And I have that bottle, which I bought for $6.99. Mohawk Rum, heard of it? Gold and white. It's probably one of those that's only sold in certain states, probably like New York or something like that. Newport Rum, white, 81 liter. Probably another one sold around Rhode Island, that area, New England. Quality House, never seen it. Gold, white. Quality House is around Kentucky. We do get Quality House, Heaven Hill's Quality House Kentucky blended whiskey in Louisiana, however. Rico Bay, never seen it. Gold, white. So that's their common, really alt brand rums. Now, if you look, they have specific named brands that control. Admiral Nelson, which we see at Walmart. Burnett's, Thurn sells that. Ron Yave, no, not familiar with Ron Yave rum, but might be common somewhere else. Blackheart, yeah, I do see that around, definitely. Whalers, Killer Croc, Original Dark, Pineapple Rare Reserve. I think I've heard of Whalers, but I don't think I saw it in Louisiana. Okay, but that's their lineup, all right? That's what they claim to own. Now, the competitor, the one that's been driving me out of my mind, is Calypso. Just cannot typically tell this one apart from the other rums that I have, or other silver rums. Don't know when it was introduced. I never could find a date. I do know that it's a rum with natural flavors, as it says on the label. I do know it's bottled in Kentucky by Sazerac North America because it says it on the label. And I do know this camera won't focus. And I do know that the name comes from Greek mythology, part of the Odyssey, the Iliad and the Odyssey, which we had to read about in high school, and I found it so boring. I could put up with comic books, which are about pretend stories, because they had artwork that a lot of times I liked to look at. Good artwork. A lot of times bad artwork, but some good artwork. And so that didn't bother me. But to sit there and read a story, generally, those are just torment. On the other hand, I did want to graduate, so I put up with it. There we go. There we go. Mrs. Captain Morgan with her leg cocked up on nothing, really. And they're trying to make it look like Captain Morgan, where he has his leg cocked up. She's got her left leg cocked up, and he's got his leg cocked up on a barrel. Hers is just cocked up on nothing. So even the label doesn't even make any sense. But it's not supposed to. It's just catch your eye, and it's got the same color scheme as Captain Morgan, so you buy it. Not that anyone is fooled. No one is going to think that has any relationship to Captain Morgan rum. Just like if you see Admiral Nelson rum, it's got the same theme, like a guy with his leg cocked up, and it's sort of trying to mimic Captain Morgan. But you see that at Walmart, and no one's going to be fooled. No one is going to buy that and think, oh, this is somehow related to Captain Morgan. So they don't get a trademark lawsuit or anything. But you can see where they're going with it. It's pretty obvious, like when you go to the grocery store and they have their Dr. Wow from Food Club. Or Walmart's got their own one, Dr. something, and it's got that maroon label. They're trying to mimic Dr. Pepper. And yeah, they had the lawsuit with Keystone Light and Stone Brewing, which Stone got bought out, but Stone Brewing was suing Coors Brewing Company, saying that they were trying to fool people into thinking that Keystone Light was Stone beer, because they put it Key, and then the other side of the can was Stone. They had it separated, Keystone, and then Light. And if you turn the can a certain way, it just said Stone. And we all laughed at that because we said, who in the world is going to look at a can of Keystone Light or a bottle, because they do still have bottles. If you find that, you'd be like Indiana Jones finding that thing. But there's nobody in America going to look at a can of Keystone Light and think it's Stone Brewing. But they knuckle under, they just say, okay, say change the label, now it says Keystone, one word. Doesn't matter to me either way. I have no horse in the race. I don't work for Sapporo, the owners of Stone, and I don't work for Coors Brewing Company, the co-owners of Molson Coors. Now, these are both clear, silver. And some people keep saying on the internet, talking about, after Molson bought out Coors, I'm like, no, you don't read, obviously. You don't even bother reading their website, which gives a history of the company. And it talks about how, I don't remember the year, 2016 or something, they entered a 50-50 merger, 50% plus 50%. It wasn't somebody buying the other one out. The Molson family owns half, and the Coors family owns half. And if you look at their corporate or their partnership, staff, whatever you call it. They got two bosses, and it's like Pete Coors and whoever this guy Molson is, and then they got people underneath them, like a CEO that runs the, chief executive officer that runs both. They run it as a single company because it is technically a single company. It is a single company. It's just that it's two separate that merge together. So I mean that's pretty obvious, and I think that should be enough information for you. So Coors did not buy out Molson, and Molson did not buy out Coors. They merged. Okay. As a mutual of Omaha. No, as a mutual agreement. Now, what if they get into a big argument one day and they split? I guess they'll split. But more than likely they'll sell to somebody, right? If that be allowed. In the land of the free, the government tells you what to do. So can't let these companies make their own decisions, like if they want to merge. Like the US government is suing Albertsons and Kroger right now. Why? Why did they take them to court? Because they want to become one company. Kroger wanted to buy all the shares of Albertsons companies. And they said, no, it'll be too big based on our arbitrary decisions in the land of the free, where we decide what your freedom is. So think about that for a minute. Some people get very upset if you talk about those things. They're like, you're not a flag waving patriot, man. I am a flag waving patriot. I'm a super patriot, as we all know. But I do point out things that are true. And if that upsets you, I'm sorry that you have problems facing the truth. I mean, it's just a fact. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. Fact. The U.S. government does decide if companies can unite or not unite. That's a fact. That's not opinion. You say, well, that's just how you think about it. No, that's a fact. That's the Sherman Antitrust Act and the Clayton Antitrust Act. You might want to read about the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890. It's not an opinion. That's a fact. Okay. The government tells you how much you have to pay people per hour. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. It's the minimum wage law, and states have their own minimum wage laws. Okay. Now, some people state opinions as facts, which is a problem. They'll say that's a terrible rum. No, what they should say, that's a terrible rum in my opinion. Okay, that's not an objective reality. That is a rum. Okay, that's a fact. That is a rum, and that's a rum. Fact. Opinion, that one's good, that one's bad, that one's mediocre, that one's so-so, whatever. Okay, those are opinions. Okay. And I've run into some really hostile people on social media who are fanatics. And a lot of fanatics, they can't separate fact from opinion. They're too busy being fanatics, And so they're totally intolerable. You cannot talk to them. You cannot talk to people like this. Left wing, right wing, middle wing. It doesn't matter. If they're fanatical, you can't talk to them. Not in any reasonable way. You can agree with them. If you just agree with everything they say, you got it. You're in. You're tight. They'll be your friend. That kind of friend where if you agree with them all the time, they're your friend. And if you don't, they hate you. So when I was in high school, we were taught things like that. Fact, opinion. And when we took the state test, they had a section on there, fact, opinion. See if you had the intelligence to separate an opinion from a fact. They would give you a scenario, like a statement, like a little paragraph. Is it a fact or is it an opinion? I didn't find that difficult. Other people apparently did. And today they apparently do. Now, okay, we get it. Now, do I express my opinions often on this channel? Yeah, every day, all the time, constantly, endlessly. But they're presented as opinions. They're not presented as facts, you see. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do right now is factual. I'm trying to separate these two based on aroma and flavor and state an objective reality, meaning this is Aristocrat and this is Calypso. But it's very difficult to establish these facts because Calypso smells and tastes pretty much like the rest. And that's just what I'm finding out. Here's some other facts. I paid $6.99 for this liter bottle. All right, at super discount store on Louisiana Highway 47 northbound in Chalmette, Louisiana. All facts. I paid $5.89 plus tax for this bottle, 750 milliliters, standard. People used to call a fifth. Some people still do, but it's really not an applicable term anymore. $5.89, Ralston Liquors on Lyons Avenue, Houston, Texas. All facts. Now, whether they're good or not, that is where we enter the realm of opinion. This doesn't smell like anything. I'll be honest, it smells like I'm smelling water. Which one is it? I don't know. Here's another fact. I've gotten it wrong 8 times. And I've gotten it right 4 times. Now that is bad. Now you say, no, you're wrong. That's your opinion. It's not bad because they're very close, and you gave it a good effort, and it's not bad. It's how you frame it. It's how you look at it. That is true. It's a matter of perspective because they are very similar, and it's just tough to tell them apart. But still, to me, it's bad. Where however you cut it, eight losses and 4 wins. 4 loss to 1 victory. 2 to 1. I'm sorry, that's not good. 4 goes into 8-2 and 4 goes into 4 once. I prefer well rum over well vodka. The hangover is usually more forgiving. Well, thankfully, I don't drink enough to experience the vaunted hangover that people tell me about. It seems like every day I'm getting a comment from somebody saying, I had a hangover this, I had a hangover that, I drank this. And I'm like, man, it's amazing what volume people consume each day because, I tell them I don't think I would do that. If it was me, I don't think it's a good idea to drink 2 24-ounce cans of Ice House Edge in a night, and then they tell me, oh, I feel terrible the next morning. I said, well, I believe that. Okay, so aroma is a washout. Appearance, well, they look fine, I guess. This one is pretty simple. Looks like a well rum that you would see at a bar or grill or a restaurant, which is basically what it is. Calypso, maybe that too. Maybe that is too. But usually these well rums don't have a big write up on the back. They're not going to bother with that for if it's at a bar or a restaurant. No one's going to read it. So I think it is just for the liquor store market. It's just low shelf, and it has one of the standard Sazerac bottles. I call it their fat bottle, but it's tapered and it's got the lip at the bottom. That's a standard common Sazeracian bottle, usually associated with their cheap brands. Okay, taste. Cheers. And those come in glass, maybe plastic. I've seen brown and clear bottle. Okay, this tastes pretty good. Sugary sweet, although they'll finish dry. It's funny like that. Beers would be like that too. Be sugary sweet, but they'll finish dry. You say because they know how to execute it. They know how to present the beer. It's a sweet flavor and it has body and it has richness and all, but then it finishes dry, not sweet, not cloying. And so that's master distilling, that's master blending, that's master brewing. They know how to do it. Yes, that's probably true. It's obviously true as based on empirical evidence that I have examined through field studies like this. Okay. I do a lot of field studies. The Corleone's got lots of buffers. This one's more stalky. And what I mean by that, it's more grassy. It's more sugarcane stalk, grass. Both finished dry. Now, so that one's more sugary. This one's more stalky, but it's driving me nuts because the Calypso was stalky, but then it was sometimes vanilla-ish, sometimes sweet, and then the other one was a dark, and then it was that, and then it was that, and then it was that, and then it was that. I didn't mean no harm. I didn't mean no harm. Okay. Uh, Pleasant enough. Would I be looking to buy these? I wasn't looking to buy them when I bought them. I just stumbled upon them. I certainly wouldn't discourage someone from buying them. I'd say, yeah, but if you said, oh, should I, you think that's a good deal for the Aristocrat? I'd say it's a fantastic deal. Actually, it's a very enjoyable product. What about Calypso? Yes, very nice. It's got vanilla. Well, I don't know what the flavoring is. It says natural flavors, plural. Could it be vanilla? I assume that it is. Don't know. Could be totally wrong. Maybe it's oregano and chili powder, but I don't think that's it because it doesn't taste like that. All right. It's some kind of natural flavor. What about white chocolate? Hey, I'm not a food scientist and I'm not a dietitian, and but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. See, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but I've been told in the heat of the day a man died of cold. So I think these are close. Oh, so very close. And I would call it a tie, really, in a practical sense. I would call it a tie. Are Heaven Hill and Sazerac products close? They're very close. They have similar price points. They have they have a similar approach to how they make and market the products. They both have distilleries in Bardstown, Kentucky. Yeah, it's funny like that, but they just very similar. They have their high end, super high end products, and they market them in a certain way, and then they have their mid range, which are so common, and then they have their cut rates, their low shelf budget. I mean, Heaven Hill sell Burnett's all day long. You say Burnett's, oh, all the drunks drink that stuff, that cheap vodka. Oh, that flavor vodka. Well, I don't know if it's any good. I never had Burnett's, but I can't imagine everybody buying it. And you think everybody that's buying that in the grocery store is an old drunk? I doubt it. You say, well, they tight. They don't want to spend a lot. That's probably why they're buying it for $5.99 a liter. $5.99 a liter. Can you believe it? For coconut rum and pineapple rum from Burnett's, Heaven Hill. Look, I don't know if it's any good. I would assume it's probably fine. I'd love to see you interview the CEO of Sazerac. I'd like to do that. I don't know what questions I'd ask. Stubadub says, I always remember my granddad saying Schlit. I remember my father saying something about Schlitz back in 1985. But I won't repeat it on air. Because we were riding in the van. We used to have one of those big Econoline vans. You remember those things? And get like 10 miles to the gallon. I said, whatever happened to Schlitz? And then he made a comment. Schlitz, that's a end of sentence. I'll censor the rest out. Beer. I left the middle part of the sentence out. That's leaving it out, brackets, beer. And I looked at him like, what? I couldn't believe him saying that because it didn't seem to make any sense. I grew up with Schlitz, watching television as a little kid. I saw those old commercials, dun, 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 that adventure series, tuna, and they were catching the fish, and then the man was going to Hong Kong, and then the guy was back from the Vietnam War, or you would assume. They didn't say that, but you got the impression. And the guys playing football out in the city park and all. To me, like Schlitz was like the big beer, and him to say that, I was like, what? But I had not kept up with the industry. You see, I wasn't exactly studying the beer world at 15, 16, 17 years old. I could see the commercials, but I wasn't examining it. And I remember the Schlitz commercials for the Who's Rock America tour and all of that. I didn't know what had happened with the company. But I believe he was thinking of Schlitz malt liquor, and he was watching those commercials, which I did. I remember those too, where the bull would come busting through the wall, and those were very funny. Let me take another sip over here. All right. They're both stalky. Let's be honest. They both taste like grass, sugarcane, grass, and those white rums, they don't cover up the grassiness too well. So I could see how somebody just be totally turned off by a white rum drinking it neat at room temperature, because you're just going to get all the grass, right? And none of the, these people. We know people drink rum with all kind of flavors. Is that wrong? No, it's not wrong. Drink. I always tell people, drink it any way you want. What difference does it make? It's you drinking it. You want to make any kind of crazy cocktail? It certainly doesn't matter to me, especially since your interests don't conflict with my interests. But I prefer to taste them neat at room temperature, so I can get a real handle on what I'm tasting. You see. But in this case, I'm not getting a very good handle on it because I've been getting it wrong. But I think this one might be the Calypso, by virtue of the stalky and vanilla thing. Oh, got it right. Oh, what a miracle. You say, what's the next miracle? Phoebe Cates going to call you to go over and have a dinner? Well, I'm not going to go all the way to New York City to have dinner with Phoebe Cates. And secondly, I think Kevin Kline would take issue with that. And thirdly, I don't think it would be appropriate, even though it could be totally innocent, having dinner is nothing wrong, but it would create a scandal. And I'm not looking to do that. Now, if that would have been 1984, I still wouldn't have done that, because she's 5 years older than me, and I would feel very uncomfortable, even in a romantic thing or not. I would feel uncomfortable. But I would have had one question for her. I would have said, well, look, I don't feel comfortable here. I'm nervous and everything, but do you drink those beers when you do the advertisements for the beer, those Japanese beers? Do you actually drink them, or are you just holding them? In other words, are you a beer drinker? Do you like beer in general, or a Japanese beer in particular? That would have been my question. Would be now. I guess maybe in 84 wouldn't have been. I wasn't thinking along those lines. But yeah. So anyway, I got it right. 5 wins, 8 losses. So we're like the little train that could. Old Milwaukee's best. Both have to be close to frozen to drink. Do you think Schlitz is in that category? No, I don't. I don't think Old Milwaukee or Milwaukee's best, light or ice. That's the only two Milwaukee's best they make today. The light or the ice have to be super cold to enjoy. I drink them right out the fridge, not out the freezer, not in a frozen mug, and I always enjoy them. Old Milwaukee, just right out the freezer. Right out the fridge, like a regular other beer, right out the glass. Always drink them from a glass. Yeah, fine, I like it. Well-made product. Milwaukee's best. Enjoy that also. Can't complain. Very nice beer. Schlitz is about the same as those. Good, and good, but they're actually better than good. They're either at least very good. They're at least a B plus. I think if you're going below B plus, you're not examining that beer carefully. You just falling into the hype of what you perceive as bad beer. And believe me, I've had some bad beer. I can show you. You can walk in my shoes, and then you'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to be in those shoes ever again." I know you don't. I know I've walked in the camo. I've walked across the desert sands of camo, and I don't want to go there again. I'm still got PTSD from that. Can you drink them warm? Me? I could. I would not, because I think beer is better cold. But anyway, all right. So got it right. I'm so happy. But I'll try the next taste challenge. I'll try to get it right again. And the best I think I'll finish is could be 9 and 8. I think that's how many I have. 17. Can you believe it? 17 different ones. Well, I've amassed a collection of white rums, have I not? So I think I could finish 9 and 8, but the chances of that are so poor. Yeah. I'm almost guaranteed a losing record at this point, but stranger things have happened. Remember the 1993 Florida Marlins, for example. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.